Here we'll look at an equation that is quadratic in form. Let's look at our helpful hint. Let y equal x squared, and then y squared equals x to the fourth. Write the new quadratic equation after these replacements have been made. Here we have an equation that we want to solve, and as it's written now, it is not quadratic. But if we look at the helpful hint, it tells us we can make these replacements and transform the equation into one that is quadratic. So we're going to let y be x squared, and if we square both sides here, we'll have y squared equals x squared squared, or x to the fourth. So I'm going to rewrite this equation using y squared for x to the fourth and using y for x squared. After making those replacements, I have a quadratic equation I can solve, and I'm going to solve this by factoring. This trinomial on the left factors to y minus 9 times y minus 2. Then using the zero factor property and setting each factor equal to 0, I'll get my two solutions in terms of y. Solving this, I get y is 9, and solving this equation, I get y is 2. So I found two solutions in terms of y. Our original equation is in terms of x, so I want to know what x equals. At this point, I need to go back here and put back in the x squared that is equal to y. So instead of y equals 9, I'm going to write x squared equals 9. And same thing here, instead of y equals 2, I'm going to substitute x squared in for y and have x squared equals 2. And now I can solve each of these equations using the square root property, which says, in this case, if x squared equals 9, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9. And here, x squared equals 2, the solution is x equals plus or minus the square root of 2. Here I can simplify the square root of 9 and say 3. So we have x is plus or minus 3, or x equals plus or minus the square root of 2. So remember the helpful hint. Sometimes we have an equation that is not quadratic, but if we make certain replacements, we can transform it into an equation that is quadratic.